Have you ever listened to a music track and felt like you were being transported to another world, enveloped by a sound so rich and textured that you could almost touch it? Today, we're diving into the art of creating depth and movement in your mixes using a technique that might just become your new secret weapon: dynamic frequency modulation. Now, before you start thinking this sounds like some kind of futuristic tech babble, let me assure you that dynamic frequency modulation is a powerful tool that, once understood, can elevate your audio productions to new heights. So, what exactly is dynamic frequency modulation? In essence, it's about using modulation to constantly alter the frequencies of your sound elements, creating a sense of movement and evolution in your mix. Imagine your sounds not just sitting in a static range of frequencies, but dancing and weaving through various sonic spaces. This technique can breathe life into otherwise static elements, making them much more engaging and immersive. Whether you're working on an ambient track, a cinematic score, or even an intricate pop song, dynamic frequency modulation can add that extra layer of intrigue and sophistication. Let's start by talking about tools. You don't need the most expensive gear or software to experiment with dynamic frequency modulation. Most DAWs come equipped with the basic tools you'll need: modulating plugins such as LFOs or envelope followers, and a trusty parametric EQ. The key is learning how to combine these to manipulate your sound over time. Begin by selecting a sound that will benefit from movement. Perhaps a pad or a synth line that feels a bit too static. Apply an EQ and identify which frequency bands are integral to the character of your sound. Then, introduce an LFO to modulate these frequencies subtly. You don't want to create drastic shifts that distract. Instead, aim for gentle, evolving changes that add interest and depth. The beauty of this method lies in its subtlety. It's like adding a splash of color to a monochrome painting. Now, let's move on to understanding the importance of modulation sources. Not all modulation is created equal, and the choice of how you modulate your frequency bands can greatly affect the end result. Consider using an envelope follower that responds dynamically to the amplitude of the sound being processed. Now, this method can create a reactive modulation where the frequency band adjustments respond to the music itself, evolving in sync with the track's intensity. This can be particularly useful for sounds that have natural dynamics, like vocals or live instrument recordings. On the other hand, using a step sequencer to modulate frequencies can introduce rhythmic elements, giving your mix a pulse and drive that it might otherwise lack. The takeaway here is that the source of your modulation can drastically change the way your frequencies move and dance. And experimenting with different methods can lead to exciting discoveries. Finally, integration is key. Dynamic frequency modulation should serve your mix, not dominate it. Listen critically to how these modulations affect the overall balance and clarity of your track. It's easy to get carried away and end up with a jumble of moving frequencies that muddies your mix. To avoid this, keep your modulation movements within a range that enhances without overpowering. Try automating the intensity of your modulation over different sections of your track, using them to build dynamics and interest as the song progresses. And remember, sometimes the most striking changes are the subtlest. So, now it's your turn to experiment. Dive into your next project with an open mind and see where dynamic frequency modulation can take you. Perhaps start with a single element and build from there, slowly incorporating more movement and depth as you become comfortable with the process. What new textures can you create? How will your mixes evolve with this newfound freedom? Let your curiosity lead you, and don't be afraid to explore the endless possibilities. Remember, the magic of audio production lies in experimentation and discovery. So go ahead, give your mixes the gift of movement, and watch as they transform into something truly captivating.